Your weekly update with teacher Jack here and our coach May. Welcome. Jack, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I've been waiting for the practice
Staying healthy, staying busy.
to come out, and now it's out, and there's a whole bunch of new practice sessions on there.
That's right. Yeah, I've been busy this week. We've had the same range of practice sessions for some time now. And well, speaking to students, speaking to staff here, well, it's time for a change. And being online, we need practice sessions that are appropriate for teaching in the classrooms at the moment. So yeah, we've got a bunch of new practice sessions, and there'll be new ones each week this term.
Hey, May, how are you?
Hi,
Hi,
yes,
May.
I'm brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, excellent.
Hi,
Brilliant.
can you hear me?
That's
Oh yeah, we can hear you just fine. Yeah.
That's slang.
Really?
Brilliant usually means what? Brilliant means very, very bright, or very, very smart.
Yeah.
All very
But
good.
It means in British English, yes, kind of an idiom. Yeah. When you
Okay.
were a student with us, did you study
Yes.
idioms very often? You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Because like sometimes when you grow higher level, or when you are attending higher level, idioms are kind of like is essential. Not that much, but it's somehow essential because most of the people use slangs and those idioms almost all the time when you are in kind of chit chat things. So it's better to know them.
Right. You can know all the words, but still not know what they mean. So
Yeah, I mean, that's something that came up. I've been
Yes.
practicing, I've been, like testing out some of the new idiom-based practice sessions this week with some students of mine. And one of the activities we did was that they had to point out every time I used an idiom when I was speaking to them. Now, they are a mix of upper intermediate and advanced students. And I was surprised to learn about my own speech when giving instructions or just discussing things with my advanced students, the amount of idioms that I do use without thinking about it. So I think if you are dealing with like native speakers in your job or in your education, being aware of what idioms mean are really important, because I think most native speakers wouldn't realize just how many idioms they use when they talk naturally.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think, in my opinion, it makes them more comfortable to talk with.
in your in Myanmar speech, I understand that
Our
the word
unique
for
collection of-
idiom is word picture or word story. What was it? Word picture. In Myanmar language, can you explain to us what is an idiom?
It's kind of like we don't have like the exact meaning for that, but we usually use a actually like use it's kind of other words, and we usually use sagabo and sagata like that, but it's not totally mean they are idioms. They are more
I'm
like
listening.
proverbs and kind of mottos sometimes.
I think there is definitely a blurred line between like phrases, idioms, proverbs. There's definitely a sort of blurred line there, but idioms is something quite specific. Right. So yeah, we're talking about idioms and proverbs and like what's the difference. And I think a lot of the time they are similar, and they're thought of in a similar way. It's like a phrase that we use that tells us something generally true, I guess would be a proverb, or some kind of life lesson. I often think of the Bible when I think of proverbs, of course. So it's these kind of teachings or lessons about life that can be summed up in a
Right.
phrase,
It's
whereas
almost
idioms are more kind of everyday expressions where we're using words joined together that have a meaning that is, when the words are separate, they have a separate meaning, but when they're together, they have a new third meaning, which is often completely different from the individual words. So you can see how the proverbs and idioms might be similar, but not the same. They're definitely in the same sort of group, and the idioms practice sessions will be covering that.
You could even say, like, some phrasal verbs are idiomatic. They don't actually mean what they say.
Right.
Look up. What is look up? No, what? Look
Sure.
up this word.
Yeah, it's definitely that idea is what sort of groups all these things together, isn't it? That words that we understand separately, when combined, have a new meaning that can be difficult to find out.
So
And
let's
that's
see
why,
it, shall we? Let's see the new practice session schedule. I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's see here. Okay, there's the. Yeah, we're okay here. Yeah, the practice
I can
session
see,
website.
yeah, the website there. So
Ah,
I think the
messed up.
for
Yeah,
next
we'll get
for
this
next
fixed here.
week, while you're just getting the schedule up there, we do have 3 things happening tomorrow on Monday.
Yeah.
So we've got a speaking session, which is a sort of discussion group. That's aimed, you were asking earlier about what's available for sort of pre-intermediate and elementary students. Well, that speaking session is aimed at students below intermediate. So that would include elementary and pre-intermediate. And it's about do it yourself. So when you need to fix something at home, maybe change a light bulb or put up a shelf or something like this, this session is dealing with that language. The idea being that a lot of our students will be going abroad, will be studying abroad, and of course, when you're studying abroad, you might run into problems. You might need to go and buy a light bulb or fix a chair or whatever it might be. Well, this language is going to help with those kind of problems. So a lot of the speaking sessions are aimed at going to a country where you don't, where you need to speak English to communicate, and the kind of problems that students or the situations that students might find themselves in.
So, Peter,
So the DIY speaking session
DIY,
at 30.
ballet.
Do it yourself.
Well, yeah. မနက်ဖြန်တနင်္လာနေ့12နာရီခွဲကနေပြီးတော့ဗောနော်တနာရီခွဲဒီမှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ public workshop လေးရှိရပြီးလို့ရှိရင် elementary level နဲ့ pre intermediate level အဲ့ဒီအတွက်ကျတော့ do it yourself ဆိုတဲ့ခေါင်းစဉ်လေးနဲ့ပြောမယ် speaking skill တစ်ခုရှိရပါတော့ speaking အတန်းတစ်ခုရှိရအဲ့ဒါကဘာလို့ထည့်ထားရလဲဆိုတော့အကယ်၍နိုင်ငံခြားမှာပေါ့နော်အကယ်၍ပညာရေးပိုင်းသွားသင်တဲ့အခါပေါ့နော်တော်တော်များများလဲနိုင်ငံခြားသွားပြီးတော့တက္ကသိုလ်ပိုင်းသွားတက်ကြမယ်လို့ညွှန်လင့်ထားတာသိပါရဲ့အဲ့တော့ဒါလေးကိုနိုင်ငံခြားသွားတဲ့အခါကျရင်ကိုယ့်ကိုတယောက်တည်းနေရာမှာပေါ့နော်အဲကြလို့ရှိရင်ကိုကမီးလုံးလေးလိုသွားဝယ်ရပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်ထိုင်ကုန်ပြတ်ကျိုးသွားလို့သွားဝယ်ရပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်တစ်ခုခုပြတ်သွားလို့ကိုယ့်ကိုပြင်ဖို့လဲရပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်အဲ့လိုအချိန်မျိုးမှာဆိုကိုကဘယ်လိုပြောရမလဲမသိဘူးဆိုတော့ကိုယ့်အတွက်အဆင်ပြေမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့အဲ့ဒါကိုဘယ်လိုပြောရမလဲဆိုတာကိုအင်္ဂလိပ်စာအသုံးချပြီးတော့ပေါ့နော်ပြောနိုင်အောင်ဆိုပြီးတော့ဒီ workshop လေးကိုထည့်ထားပါကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်
Okay, so yeah, we got DIY. Let's do it yourself for element, and then also on Wednesday, party strangers.
So that's based around. I was thinking, like you go to an event, a party, and there are people that you don't know. What is a sort of informal way of making small talk, meeting people, getting to know people?
Okay, and then before we move on to the idioms. Again, tomorrow at 12:30, if you're a lower level, go to the do-it-yourself tools. If you're upper level and are thinking about the IELTS test, we have our first IELTS workshop of this term, and it is if you're an IELTS student, it's free, and we haven't decided on the rest of the students, but there's a small fee because this session is of significant value. It is the kind of material that people pay a lot more for. And because with the virtual learning environment, we can get, we love our students here, but we can get students from everywhere. We're trying to get some other people from all over into our school who will only participate on the computer. So tomorrow it's going to be understanding the band descriptors. Teacher Sean will be the speaker and I'll be his assistant. And we'll be looking at exactly what does each criteria cover, what are the important ideas in each band descriptor, and how to understand that in sort of everyday language as opposed to the ELT speak why do they call it lexical resources? Why do they call it vocabulary? That type of thing. So that's also at 12:30. Okay. And what else you got, Jack? Let someone turn. We've got another workshop on Wednesday. Continuation of the.
So that's when the third we saw 2 sessions happening. One at 6 o'clock. That's for an hour, so between 6 and 7.
Right. Happiness, sadness, and anger idioms.
There is a session, the second of the week, on idioms, and these idioms are sort of topics. So you can see first one about problems, idioms, having problems and solving problems, and then
That's a real
we
kettle of fish.
I don't think you're using that right, because
No, it's not. We're gonna fix this, obviously. Oh, I know why.
Okay.
all right, okay. Communication's quite communicate. So that's the third session of the week. On Friday, there's one about animals, idioms related to animals, and that's also covers kind of metaphors as well that we use about animals, which is another one of those sort of groups of words that don't necessarily mean what the words mean separately.
Animals. Writing skills workshop going to work, Jack? Are they going to be submitting writing?
No, not necessarily. If we want to talk about the writing skills, it's called writing skills, not writing, because it's focusing on the skills they'll need to do successful writing. So there will be some activities there where students will be expected to write sentences. The first session, in fact, is called Sentences and Paragraphs.
And that's on Thursday, right?
Yeah, so they're going to be spending an hour there where they have activities that they'll complete. And they'll be talking with the teacher about these activities as they work through them. But the session itself is about the skills that they need. So what we're doing in the sessions is kind of looking at other people's writing and analyzing other people's writing to inform our writing. Because the thing is with an hour, well, firstly, an hour is not usually long enough to really do a whole writing lesson, including writing. You can teach some skills, but for students to sit down and write, it probably takes a while. Now, I think students will be encouraged to practice these skills, whether that's in their general English classes, the arts classes, business classes, or by communicating with the practice session teacher, they can try and apply the skills to longer pieces of writing. But the actual practice sessions themselves don't ask students to write an essay, for example,
waste their time doing
story.
that. Yeah, well, hopefully,
right.
we'll
So
get
we're
something
looking
up
at
in the future where we're for people who do want to write and want to practice, and then of course want it to be shared or looked at. Someplace we can maybe on Class Dojo where you can put your writing there, and other students can read it, and teachers can read it if they have the time, and a writing exchange. I think we should look at that.
Sure.
Something to use this electronic environment for. Okay, so and then on the weekend, new speaking and new pronunciation. I want everyone to go to the.
Yeah, that's right. So you say new pronunciation. Students that have attended pronunciation practice sessions in the past will notice they are quite familiar, but they're definitely new topics. We're using similar materials to deliver these practice sessions. But this is the first time that we've done practice sessions specifically on the sound, and the second sound that we're dealing with, that's on Saturday, would be L and R, L and which were covered in other pronunciation practice sessions, but not specifically those sounds. They were always grouped in with other sounds, and I thought it was worth having an hour on those particular sounds because it's definitely something that my students struggle with. So that practice session is going to focus on, well, two of the, I think, most difficult sounds for a lot of my students. The th sound, both the, well, at all stages of a word, at the beginning, the middle, and the end of a word. And then the L, and sound, again, at the beginning, middle, and end of words.
It's a lot harder in some other cultures. I mean,
so I think that will be, that's listed as being available for all levels.
Yeah. And where's some protected coloring?
Is that these ones have variables for several different levels.
Okay,
Quite,
well,
yes, bring your...
I think that comes to the end of our review of the new practice sessions. Jack, thank you for all your hard work in getting that out there. And we'll do our best to spread the word. And for your students out there, again, it's so easy to come. You don't have to go park anywhere. You don't have to get on a bus. You just turn on your computer. And you know what? This isn't going to last forever. One day, to get this stuff, you're going to go, oh, I wish it was on the computer. Well, it won't be forever. So come, and we'll see you there. May, thank you for helping us.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, Jack?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So, bye, everyone, and stay safe. See you next weekend.